हर स्क्रिप्ट का अपना एक सफ़र होता है। तो चलिए ऐसे ही एक सफ़र पे जिसका नाम है स्क्रिप्टनामा। हेलो एंड वेलकम टू द सेकंड सीजन ऑफ स्क्रिप्टनामा, एक ऐसा पॉडकास्ट जो कहानी के पीछे की कहानी सुनाता है। और आज हमारे साथ जो राइटर है उनके बारे में जितनी तारीफ की जाए उतनी कम है, क्योंकि इन्होंने इतने स्कैम किए हैं कि आज सब लोग इनको इनके स्कैम्स के नाम से जानते हैं। टुडे वी हैव विद अस करण व्यास. So Karan Vyas sir has written dialogues for season 1 of Scam 92, a Hansal Mehta story. Now he has come up with his second installment of Scam 2003 Telugu story, where he has written story and dialogues and screenplay for the show. So welcome to our show, Karan sir.
Thank you so much for inviting me here on Scriptnama.
Let's start with ये स्कैम बाजी स्टार्ट कहाँ से हुई, मतलब राइटिंग आपने कब स्टार्ट किया?
जैसे मैं कहता हूँ ना कि इंडस्ट्री में जो भी आता है ना वो सिर्फ दो चीजें करने के लिए आता है, जो ज्यादातर सही होता है। यहाँ पे है ना सिर्फ लोग या तो डायरेक्टर बनने आते हैं, एक्टर बनने आते हैं। तो मेरी भी शुरुआत वैसे ही हुई थी कि मैं अहमदाबाद में पला बड़ा, वहीं स्कूलिंग की है।
राइट.
And when I was in Ahmedabad, when I was watching movies, like all of us, like 90s kids on theater, on single screen, and you know, Z Cinema,
Yes.
Setmax. So the idea was always to direct a film. So I went to film school, and I went to film school. Then I started understanding
the grammar of films,
different department, different job roles, and my first experience writing was when I was for doing direction in my film school. I wrote my first short film. And for me, writing became very therapeutic process because overall filmmaking is very chaotic.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I felt. And the process I really enjoyed was when I was alone in my room and writing, and and then I would bounce off those ideas in front of teacher. Who was like supervising our scripts and everything.
Right.
So later on, I did a lot of internships and everything, and then I wanted to also study producing.
Okay.
Because I had produced my own short film.
Acha.
And because I'm a Gujrati, so I thought शायद producing में थोड़ा ज़्यादा पैसा होगा.
Yeah.
तो वो भी पढ़ लेते हैं हाथों हाथ. So when I did producing, and after doing producing, I got an internship as a producer's assistant.
Okay. This is when? Like what time you're talking?
This is between 2011 and 14. So this is specifically 2013.
10 years back.
Yeah, 10 years back.
Yeah.
And as a job role of a producer's assistant, my job was to read one script every day.
Oh.
Because he would get so many scripts pitched.
Okay, so आप वो हो जिनके पास हमारी स्क्रिप्ट जाती है. आप वो थे.
हाँ, मैं वो था. एंड हम लोग इवैल्यूएट करते थे.
राइट.
एंड मैं आगे भेज देता था, ऊपर भेज देता था.
ओके.
एंड एट दैट टाइम आई रेड सम ऑफ द वेरी फैंटास्टिक स्क्रिप्ट्स बिकॉज आई वाज इन LA. सो I had access to the great scripts. I have read, I remember...
Anything that you read that has become a show?
Like a film, like big time. I had read Argo before it got made.
Wow, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, so I had read it. I had read Transcendence, which was a Johnny Depp film, which before it got made. I had read a couple of those films, which eventually got made.
Yeah.
And we all have loved those films because within even the company we would discuss, and we have liked it, all those kind of films. So while reading it so much, ultimately I fell in love with
the
writing process and the craft of the writing overall. There, I collaborated with the local filmmakers there who were just starting out in a Gujarati film industry. And I started writing a Gujarati film. I wrote 2 films. I was associate on 2 of them.
Yeah.
One film I also did the second unit.
Yeah.
So 2 films I did casting for it.
Oh.
So it was quite an adventurous journey for 3 years almost. My real film school happened when we made our first Gujarati film, Wrong Side Raju. In film school, we all studied the theory The application I actually learned in while actually making a film.
Yes.
The first film we made it like very low budget film,
Yeah.
and that film ended up winning a national award for a Gujarati film after a long time. So Pratik, it was Pratik's first role as a lead.
Acha, wrong side Raju.
Wrong side Raju. So Pratik Gandhi, who played Hansal Mehta.
Yeah.
It was his first film as a lead. He had played the second lead in
Yes.
previously in another film called Bayar. And after that, in Wrong Side Raju, he was full-fledged lead.
Okay.
And that was my first film. And then I also did another film, which was a remake of a Marathi film, Ventilator into Gujarati.
Yes.
So that's
it was made by Rajesh Mahpuskar in Marathi.
Yeah,
Yes.
and here in Gujarati, it was made by Umang.
Yeah.
So that's how my journey began, and I was making one Hindi film, and a couple of people recommended my name to Hansal sir. So my co-writer Niren Bhatt was approached to write dialogues for Scam 1992.
Okay.
Because
Niren Bhatt, who has recently released Bhediya. if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So me and Niren Bhai had wrote this both film together, Ventilator and Wrong Side Raju.
Yes.
So he was approached to write Scam 1992, but due to his busy schedule, he couldn't write.
Okay.
So in fact, he recommended my name.
Wow.
And then it happened that there is a couple of connection also came into picture, and Hansal sir ended up calling me.
Okay.
And that's how I got on board.
Yeah.
And scam happened.
And after the first scam, when did you get into the second scam?
Like immediately within 3-4 months of, I think, just after the second wave. Like I think the second wave was in April or something, 2021.
Yeah.
And we were all locked down and everything. And in May, sir told me about this idea.
So this time you were approached for the story and screenplay.
Yeah. Because like sir told me that already Kiran and Kedar were already there, part of it. But this sir wanted to retain the similar kind of flavor from season 1. So it's a completely new story and new show, but the certain kind of flavor we still wanted to retain.
Right.
So, and I have been familiar with the entire process of Scam 1992, and I was already working on a couple of projects with sir already. So then he approached me for 2003, and first thing he told me to write 2 scenes, which he wanted actors to do audition for.
Achha.
So we had like a fairly jot out beat sheet for the show, and then he wanted to start auditioning people for Telgi. So one fine evening he says, I need 2 scenes.
Right.
Like a kadak 2 scenes, which helps me to find like a correct Telgi for us. And I wrote 2 scenes in a night.
Which were they, if you can tell us?
Yeah, so the first scene where he's selling fruits
in the train.
Yeah. He's selling fruits in the train till that full BCom thing.
Degree and all that.
So that scene, and the first episode's last scene where he says "Paisa kamaya nahi banaya jata hai," about that full analogy about halwa and everything.
Yes.
Like, because that's where he reveals his master plan. That how he's gonna, like, this is the area he wants to target.
Yeah.
So these 2 scenes I wrote in a one night. Paisa kamaya nahi banaya jata hai. That was the last line.
You left us with.
We left us with, he says, कि अगर मेरे को पैसा कमाना होता तो मैं गल्फ में ही रहता ना, पर मुझे पैसा कमाना नहीं, बनाना है. And that was the scene, that was the punchline.
Yeah.
So what happened, I'll tell you why they were written. It's not just because of how I wrote it. So when Gagan performed those scene in audition.
Okay.
And when people saw that audition, he performed those scenes so brilliantly.
Yeah.
That of course he got the job to play a Telegi. but he helped me that retain those scenes because he performed it so well that. And I had a fairly an idea that I wanted, like a first time we see him, and I knew that this 2 scenes gonna be, because as I said that we had fairly jot down the beat sheet, so I knew that this is where it's gonna placed. So I wrote his for episode 1 ka first scene and the last scene.
Opening, kind of an opening and closing of
pilot.
Of the pilot. When you find a idea for any story, how do you approach it? Do you see every idea has a potential and then you jot it down, or you believe कि जो idea अच्छा है वो sustain करेगा, तो then I will get back to it?
See, there are 2 types of job. One is a commission job and one is like spec, like what you gonna invest your own time.
Yes.
So when, like for example, both the scams are a commission job. It was given to me by a production house and a director and a showrunner. So in that case, I don't have to challenge and judge the material.
Okay.
My approach is quite simple. This is the story. Half a dozen of people feel that it's very exciting. And they are the one who are ready to put in their time, name and money.
Right.
So I have to go with their conviction.
Okay.
Number one thing, that when you get the commission project,
right.
Okay, my job is not to judge the material or the story that why you are making. I never go and ask.
Okay.
Second, when I get that material, my job is to live with that world as much as possible. Be it like in Scam 1992, the world of share market. Or 2003, the world of bureaucracy and the stamp paper and, basically the whole the
nuts
system.
and bolts of the system.
Nuts and bolts of the system. Thank you. So I try to infuse myself into this world as much as possible to understand it. And see, we live in such a good age of an internet, but everything is available to us. If something is not available to us, I buy multiple books, which helps me understanding this world.
So is it right to say you do your research? You start with your research.
I start with my own research. Secondly, the biggest point is I try to understand the character.
Yes, that's very important.
Why he did it. What would his point of view? Because I might not have an access to the person.
In both the stories, you did not.
I will not have. I don't have a luxury to go and ask. So I would, from whatever I could find, like books to articles,
to their video clips,
everything. And in both the scam, we had a adaptation right of a very fairly well written books. So that also helped. But still you go out and understand this person and everything. Why he did it, what he did it, all the research I do it. So primarily the research, I have a very basic philosophy that interesting character in interesting world will keep audience hooked.
Nice.
So already the world which is interesting, how you find the great anecdotes and understanding to fulfill it. That you do the justice to the world.
Right.
And similar way, how do you do justice to the character? That's the only 2 main focus criteria. Then of course, when I'm doing just a dialogue, then my understanding is I don't really, change too many beats which are already there in place. That A event happens, a B event happens before A, like A, B, C, all the events which the screenwriters might have, thought the sequence wise, I don't change it. But within those scene, I try to rewrite it.
How? If you could give us an example.
Like I see there are 2-3 ways.
Okay.
Like if the scene is like just 2 people talking, then for me and for my understanding, this scene could be a very passive scene. which was the case in the previous scam. Like, there are so many scenes where, they're just sitting on the table or a conference room.
Yeah.
Then some of the scene, I would change the location.
Acha.
As soon as you change the location, the scene construct automatically changes.
Yes.
Then if you put, like, for example, one scene, I put it in a washroom. So that the dynamics and everything changes.
Yes. Yes.
I can play with that element.
Yeah.
Then one scene, I put it in a car.
Yeah.
Then again, the scene construct and element changes. Then I targeted, okay, once I have done that, then my second focus is what this scene's core idea is.
Yeah.
What information should be communicated to the audience.
Okay.
So you pick the most lamest exposition and try to say it in a entertaining way. Like in scam, like using that example of a cricket, using an example of like Saas Bahu.
There are these metaphors and analogies.
Yes, exactly.
That you have used. Yeah.
Exactly. So I do this 2-3 kind of a scene, and then I change the little anatomy of scene within the screenplay.
Right.
But I don't necessarily mess around with the sequencing of those scenes.
Yeah.
Because screenwriter must have spent months and months of getting it correctly.
Right.
My job as a dialogue writer is to enhance the existing material.
Yes. Absolutely.
And secondly, give a very distinctive voice to all the characters which are given to me.
Yes. How do you approach writing for a character which was not A, conceived by you, and B, created by you? So it's like a character was handed over to you. So how do you try to make them your own?
See, it's like living with them, sleeping with them, thinking about them 24/7 helps you.
Okay.
So when I said that, I dive deep into the world and the character, this is exactly what I mean.
Acha.
Like Harshad was given to me.
Yeah.
But I made it my own.
Okay.
One thing come as an advantage is I'm a Gujarati.
Yeah.
So that cultural background was quite familiar to me.
Yes.
He was a middle class person, working class, just like how my background is. So there was some sort of a relatability.
Yes.
Then, we all have an ambition and dream, which is a common factor in every human being.
Yes.
So you tap into that.
Okay.
So all very basic elements.
Right.
Like if you see in Scam 19, why he needed to join a share market. Because he was saying my growth is not enough in what I am doing currently.
Right.
And with that limited growth, I might not come out of this chawl where I am living in.
True.
Yeah. Correct. And you could see in that initial scene like how Hansal sir and Jay and everybody had choreographed, and screenwriters had written that Jyoti and Harshad are like sleeping in a kitchen.
Yeah, the very first opening episode.
And then you can also see, like, we don't underline it. They use common bathroom. So in the very first scene when he says that let's join the share market, the brother is coming with the balti from a distance.
Yeah.
Which sort of indicates that they are using a common bathroom.
Yes.
So it's come from a space where they want to grow a little bit. And then I go back, for you, for me, for anybody who is, trying to, settle down. That's the word, settle down. What the first thing they're looking for is a home.
Yeah.
And, that fight for a home, or, the struggle and hustle for a home makes you do so many things sometimes.
Yes.
And some ways, that sort of a feeling, we also kept it in Telgi. That character, of course, as a commission project, I knew that this is Telgi, but when I started writing it, it was completely my and other writers' interpretation from the beginning. It was not just I did the dialogue. So at that time, those are the link I found out that this person had grown up around a railway station selling fruits. And as per the research, he was staying in some juggi near the railway station.
Yeah.
So whatever he did, his first objective should be home.
Yes. Yeah. So as a dialogue writer, your approach should be to make the material your own, to own the characters, to know them inside out, and then start the process of writing dialogues.
Yeah. So when I write a dialogue, it's not necessary I'm just giving an information.
Hmm.
Through a dialogue, what your specific understanding of a character, you put it through in words in his philosophy.
Right.
So you will, after watching Scam 2003, you might have understood Telgi's philosophy subconsciously, or Harshad's philosophy towards life.
Yes.
That philosophy could right or wrong, but that's his philosophy.
Yeah.
And that philosophy, it's my own take that I have understood.
Okay. But how to understand a character's philosophy then? How to go deeper?
See, there could be different approach.
Okay.
Or how to understand your character. See, of course, as one thing is a research.
Yes.
Then the second biggest thing, what I do in my exercise is I try to find that, for example, we all have idols.
True.
Like if somebody is a cricketer, his idol could be a Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar.
Yes.
If somebody is like a techie, he says, "Oh, my idol is Steve Jobs." Any person would have his or her idol that this person looks up to, an X or Y person.
Yeah.
So I try to understand whom this person in that period of time would have idealized.
Yeah.
It could be a hero.
Yeah.
Like Harshad had idealized like Rockefeller or Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah. Yes.
Same with Telgi, he had his own kind of an idol.
Yes.
Like he also talks about Bachchan here and there. Because film, cricket plays a huge role.
Yeah.
In our part of the world.
Especially during that era.
The 90s we are talking about, right? So, like these are kind of just an anecdote. More you have to dive it deep into what kind of character you are creating. When we say, like you have to write a character sketch, it's in a very basic film school exercise.
Right.
That you have to write a character sketch. What they mean by character sketch is that you understand the character, his approach, his philosophy. Is he somebody who's going to run away? Is he somebody who is going to underestimate his enemies?
Okay.
Is he the one who is very egoistic? Is he the one who's going to be overconfident or underconfident? Everybody has a strategy.
Yes.
Like Harshad was very flamboyant. On reverse, Telgi was not.
Yeah.
Even though he had so much money, you would not see him buying expensive car or living a very lavish life. And that's one of the reason he was caught like quite on late. And Harshad lived very like flamboyant life, lavish life. So that's his character trait, which you also get it from research. And when it comes to the fictional character, you decide that on your own. You have a liberty.
Yeah, with fictional characters you do.
And then sometimes, fictional character you modeled upon an existing 3-4 characters and everything. There are also that kind of an exercises,
right,
which is quite common. So if you understand the character in dialogue,
right,
it's very important that a character philosophy comes across, not just exposition.
Yes.
That makes those character memorable, because once his philosophical take, and when we say his take, about everything, comes across, you understand that character more, and sometimes you connect with that character more.
Right. So when you're doing this exercise on your own, do you prefer to run it through the screenwriters, or you do it on your own and then you just work on the dialogues and then you just submit the dialogues?
See, usually I do it on my own.
Okay.
Because sometimes, there could be a difference of opinion.
Yes.
And it's like if I have done a painting, okay, I'm not gonna go and tell everyone which type of a brush I have used.
Yeah, true.
It's my technique,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes.
Maybe the brush I have used is not correct brush, but like the final picture or the painting is looking nice, then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yes, yes.
So my objective is to be so honest to my process
Yeah.
and be honest to my work and the character and the world.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when people read, when you narrate,
Mm-hmm.
based on reaction, you can make it out. We also get a feedback. So I have also changed. There are times that I have stick to what I have written and I have fought for it. That no, this has to be like this.
Okay.
Because there is a logic behind
Right.
why it says.
Right.
So yeah, all that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Also, I just want to understand that there are like dialogues, and then there is dialoguebaazi. How to draw that line?
Dialoguebaazi is different than the dialogues. Now, is your character in real life like that who will give a dialoguebaazi? Then yes.
Okay.
Like for example, like when you are addressing people and when you are convincing, the some sort of a dialoguebaazi is required
By the character. For the character.
For the character.
Right.
So, like we have a very fair amount of dialoguebaazi in both the seasons of Scam,
Yes, yes.
because that is how the characters are defined and designed. Right now, your Sucheta doesn't have a dialogues.
Yeah.
One stand-up comic also made a point about it.
Yeah.
That Sucheta doesn't have a dialoguebaazi because that's a character.
Yeah.
Arshad is that kind of a character.
Yeah.
And it came from our research that they were like that kind of a people.
Yeah.
With the Telgi also, we found out that, he had certain kind of a flair of convincing people, selling stuff. He was a proper salesman.
Yeah.
So we retained that part of it.
So as a dialogue writer, where do you draw the line between dialogues and dialoguebaazi? Because sometimes it gets out of the hand, right?
See, that's the thing. Like, see, you need salt in the food, right? To make it tastier, you need little. That's what it says, namak mirchi.
Yes.
But it has to be swad anusar.
Right.
The more you're gonna do it, it's gonna screw up your food.
Yeah.
The similar way, and that comes from a practice.
Okay.
Initially, you might, feel that okay, it required, and then that's why the importance of a showrunner and the director is there to put you back on the track if you're going wrong.
Yeah.
And Hansal sir does a brilliant job with me. I do also get carried away. I sometimes write a lot.
Yeah.
And I have multiple punches sometimes in the same line. And then he says it's getting a little more.
Yeah.
We need to reduce it.
Yeah.
Or he says, like we need like something here. Where he makes like a final statement.
Right.
Kind of a thing which convince the other character to, go with his plan or something like that.
Yeah. Kind of a mic drop moment.
Yeah, like we need that kind of a mic drop moment. So that's why you need like a proper guidance of your director and the showrunner. And when I say, it's like absolute teamwork. It is absolute teamwork. Today my work is being appreciated.
Yes.
And as a dialogue writer, it's very important that how that dialogue has been perceived by a director and a showrunner.
Yeah.
And then secondly, how actor has interpreted.
Right.
And how he has delivered.
Absolutely, yes.
Like there are so many lines which Gagan and Pratik have delivered with such a flawlessness. If there is any dishonesty in that performance, those lines could sound cringe. In both the scams, when I have written even those punchy lines, both the brilliant actors have said it as if their own line. They have not underlined it. They have said it very by the way, like this character says this kind of one-liners very aram se in day to day.
Yeah.
So you don't see that underlining. Like for example, I'd give you example of two scenes where there was an underlining required. One is मैं cigarette नहीं पीता.
हाँ, but later of the
हाँ, right. So he's addressing a TV people.
yeah.
So he's projecting himself larger than life.
Yes.
So that's when performance is also he has done it like he has underlined.
Yeah.
And I have written it as the same way.
Right.
Then second time he is addressing people of BSc where there is a full dialoguebaazi.
Right.
You know that जब शेयर मार्केट की घंटी बजती है उसके साथ मेरे नाम का डंका भी बजता है. मैं दरिया हूँ दरिया क्योंकि बॉम्बे में कुछ भी बदल जाएगा पर दरिया वहीं का वहीं रहेगा. मैं वो दरिया हूँ.
Yes.
Because he's addressing a public. So he is becoming a larger than life.
Yes.
So those line Pratik has also underlined it in a certain way. It's also brilliant direction by Jay and Hansal sir.
Also, for the benefit of most new writers, at what stage are dialogue writers involved in the project?
It's a very good question. I have been called upon on very different stages.
Yeah.
That doesn't reduce or increase my work. See, it also depends that when they sometimes they get me in the Bible stage.
Okay.
To understand the character and the
Yes.
beats and everything. Like on Scoop, I was from there from day one.
Oh, yes.
So even before the screenplay, Mirat, Mrinmay and Anu had just begun, that writer's room. I was there. I was there only
But-
for few sessions.
Yeah, but you were there
From
in
the
capacity
beginning.
of but as a
Dialogue writer.
Yeah, in the capacity of dialogue writer.
From the beginning.
Okay.
Show like Scam 1992, I came on board when they had like already written 5 episode screenplay.
Okay. They already had that place holding dialogues in.
Yeah. Like
but
they had done full research.
Yeah. Everything.
Everything. I had like a rock solid
Screenplay.
5 episode screenplay.
Okay.
And as I was writing, they were moving forward, Saurav and Sumit.
Yeah.
And by the time Vaibhav has also done the first draft. So I got pretty late on Scam, but then I did my 100%.
Right.
So as I said, even though I joined late, it did not decrease my work.
You had to do the same drill.
Yeah, same drill. And as I said, like in Scoop, I was joined quite early. So it did not increase my work because I was joined early.
Okay. You still had to do the same drill.
So exercise is the same.
Okay.
It's the same exercise. You have to see if you have to bowl on the 49th over or the first over. Your technique has to be the same.
Yeah. And your aim is right. Take wickets and stop runs.
Yeah. So it's as I said, what I am there for, why my specific expertise is required. I try to focus on that. Like for example, in Scoop, though I was there from the day one, I got pilot completely wrong when I wrote for first time.
Okay.
And
completely wrong, please.
Means I was wrong in the tonality.
Okay.
I was wrong in how the character would talk. I have misunderstood Jigna's character.
Okay.
I was still maybe in some scam zone. So Jigna would sound like Harshad. I have done that. And that's where the brilliance of Mrinmay and Hansal sir, comes into picture. That they were patient enough. Like they had a patience.
Right.
And sir told me it's not working. Nothing. Not even a single dialogue is working.
Wow.
Why don't you take a break? Like,
wow.
Why don't you read 3 episodes again? By the time we had only had 3 episodes written.
Yeah.
And take a month.
Wow.
And come back writing.
Yeah.
And I took 2 months, not 1. And then I narrated full first episode to everyone,
right.
to all the writers and the Hansal sir. And from 0, I reached it like 60, 70.
Oh God.
Then
that must have been a relief for you.
That must have been relief. It's like, passing marks.
Yeah.
Then I know, okay, then it was Hansal sir who told me that this scene is working. This scene is still not working. You have got this right. This is still need to be worked upon. So again, after 10-15 days, I wrote one more draft, which was almost there, like 90%.
Okay. You were like getting better at it.
Yeah. And after that, he says, now don't look at episode 1.
Okay.
Go on 2 and 3. Then we did 2 and 3.
Okay.
Once I did 1, 2, 3 again, then he says, okay, now all the episodes are like, I think 85-90% there. I think these are the areas we need to work upon. Then I again redid 1, 2, 3, one more draft. Then once I did this exercise, then 4, 5, 6 was quite easier for me.
Okay, because by then you have got every character's voice.
Right. Rhythm and everything.
Rhythm and everything.
And that's why I said, like I was not getting Imran properly. So all the primary characters, I was not getting it properly. There was certain nuances which I was missing out. Lot. And then, having showrunner, director having a patience with you and confidence in you helped. And it was a very tough project, but I somehow did it. And that, also give me a confidence that, okay, I don't need to do a dialoguebaazi every time.
Yeah.
Because I was coming from Scam 1992 and that was like a very second project I was doing it. So I had that kind of an hangover. But I have to keep on reminding myself that, okay, I have written Sucheta, I have written Debashish. It's kind of a similar world, but it's very different.
The righteous people. Fighting for right, fighting for good.
Yeah. So yeah, like that finding, the right rhythm sometimes takes time.
How do you, Karan Vyas, finds your voice in somebody else's screenplay?
See, I put myself in almost every character. My experiences, my thought process, like a little things, those nuances. Because it all comes from your own experience. Our gold is our experiences. What journey we have come from. And, try to relate with the character you are writing. Like Jagruti's family, I have almost like very similar kind of family. His dada is like, he's like Jagruti's nana are like very much like my nana. And I had written this one line in Gujarati. If somebody came after like a month and a half and I was in Gujarat and he says, I loved that line and I was very happy because they remember that specific line. The line goes like something like that, Jalsa karya hoy to jode jajum wo hi pade.
Please translate. Sir.
So, wo Gujarati mein hai and it means that when you have fun together, so it's necessary that we should also fight together.
Yes.
So somebody just came and just told me that, this line will stay with me for longest period of time. And, like similar kind of a thing my Nana once had said to me. Like what does the family mean? They're together in the worst times and the great times. That's the family. And it's a derivation of that thought into that line. And that Nana tells Jagruti, it's a very nice tender moment. So yeah, all that kind of a thing. So when I write this kind of a scene, it's me. That's myself.
How much time does it take to reach to that level of, finding the right connect? I'm really wondering.
See, you have to trust your gut actually. After a point, there is no formula. It's your gut and conviction.
Okay.
It's like you feel like after you, like, see, every writer will tell you this. Once they have written a good scene, they just know it. This line is bang on. Like, I'm not able to share it, but like yesterday I wrote one scene, I know it is a good scene.
And this is so important actually for new writers to believe that okay, if they feel it's a good scene, then they should go and stick to it.
See, in India, conviction is everything,
Yeah.
especially in India.
Yeah, true.
Like that's why you see all kind of films doing so great. You know, we are the one who also celebrates Oppenheimer and Barbie, and we also celebrate like Jawan and Gadar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about conviction. It's
Yeah.
what type of story you want to tell.
Yeah.
The idea is just tell it with the utmost honesty and conviction that okay, this works. Once you have conviction, nothing can stop you.
Don't you get insecure as a writer when you're writing with multiple writers? What if
Never.
somebody's like feeling insecure, like a new, let's say there's a writer's room with you, Saurav sir, Vaibhav Vishal, and then there's a new writer. How does he should approach the work? Because he might get intimidated by biggies like you. So for a new writer, what you
See,
will tell?
of course, he has to find his own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Number one thing is that.
What helps in finding the voice?
It's your own conviction and your thought process, and as we were discussing, putting yourself into it.
Okay, putting yourself into it.
Like
Your personal
why?
experiences.
Yeah, like personal experience.
Mhm.
You know how much you have traveled, how many people you have met. What kind of interactions you have. What sort of different subjects you can have a conversation. It's very important.
So, for a screenwriter, or also for a dialogue writer, how important is understanding of human psychology is?
Very important.
Could you please explain talk a little more on that?
See, as I said, like the backbone of any good storytelling, and especially the long format, is a good character.
Yes.
So how you understand or decode the character? So you have to understand his psyche.
Yes.
Why, what, when.
Why?
Those whys and whats and whens, want and need, and it's like a basic, like a screenwriting 101 that you need to understand what his characters want and need. What is that? That is how I earlier spoke about, like understanding his philosophy and his take over life and everything.
Yeah.
One person can be fully corrupt,
Yes.
but he has conviction that this being corrupt only I will achieve something in life.
Yeah.
That is his psyche. Now you apply his psyche in most of the scenes. Like Telgi's psyche, what I understood that everybody has a price.
Yes.
So there's one scene where he says, "हम दुनिया में काय को आते हैं?" His friend says, "जक मारने को." And he says, "कमाने को आते हैं." कोई पैसा कमाने को आता है, कोई इज्जत कमाने को आता है, कोई power कमाने को आता है. So when he says all these three things, he knows that whose price is what. किसको पैसा खिलाना है, किसको प्रमोशन दिलाना है, किसको सत्ता में लाना है. Somebody might not will do his job because of money, because that person might have tons of money.
Yeah. He might need something else.
Yeah.
But you need to know what he needs.
Yeah. So that's how I understood the character.
How a writer's room function for a new writer, and what a new writer can do to be a part of such writer's room.
See, there are multiple ways. I think now writer's room also requires like assistants, because initially, when 3-4 writers are jamming, they need somebody to take notes. They need somebody to assist them in research. So nowadays you can start as a research associate.
Right.
Because I might not have too much time researching.
Yes.
So that's how the new person can start, and gradually once you have part of a 1 or 2 writers room, maybe with the same writer or same company, you can join as one of the staff writer, which is the part of the writers room.
Yes.
Where out of there are 1 or 2 senior writers and 2 are newer writers. Correct. And it will come with an experience,
Okay.
like whatever the head writer or the showrunner should have a veto. That's what I understand. Because then 4 or 5 people are trying to make a very different kind of a show.
Yes.
They're not on same page.
Right.
For that, like how every team needs a captain, every writer's room needs to have like that one head writer or like a showrunner who has a final say.
Yeah.
So everybody is following that order, and everybody has their specific job roles defined. In some writer's room, or the episodes are bifurcated.
Yeah. Yeah.
In some writer's room, within the episode, some scenes are bifurcated.
Okay.
I work a little differently. When I run a writer's room, I have drafts bifurcated.
Oh. Entire draft of the series or like for episode to episode?
Yeah. So everybody works on every episode.
Oh.
I have a newer writer working on like a first draft.
Mm-hmm.
Then little more senior writer working on the like more structural draft.
Mm-hmm.
Then I come and put the flesh and blood and everything.
Right.
I do the final packaging, dialogues and everything. So that's my process. But every writer's room has a different process.
Yeah. But what does this or what do new writers need to show in terms of their portfolio, in terms of their CV? What is looked in new writers?
See, first of all, they need to know the basic ABCD.
Yeah.
Like they need to understand that, okay, now we work on a final draft. They need to know that software, Final Draft or Celtex or whatever they are using it.
Yes.
And then whatever the maximum writers are using in that writer's room, they should be, easily to adapt to that software.
Well versed with
the technical aspect.
Yeah.
Then second, one needs to be very well versed of, content.
Okay.
Like, like the as much as content you can consume, because most of the time what happens is when we write, structurally we do a lot of referencing.
Yes.
In this series, in this show, in this film or something. On a very initial stage, and you're just cracking the structure, you have a lot of referencing. So during that referencing, if two writers are talking about like one classic film, you should have seen it.
Yeah.
So, being well versed with the good cinema, good shows,
yes,
it's quite important.
Yep.
And thirdly, as I said, every writer needs to be aware of what's going on in the world, what's going on in the in India, what is there going on in the news, because those awareness will help you to come up with a lot of plots.
Yeah.
And this is just, I'm talking about skeleton.
Yeah.
Because initially, when you just learn how to write a skeleton for a show or a film, that is enough for a newer writer.
Okay.
And then slowly, you will learn as what we were discussing, that how you can write better structure, better scenes, better dialogues. Will come after practice.
Right.
After writing one project after another project after another project. Some might get it in 2 projects, some might get it after 5 projects.
Yeah, but writing is like doing that is very important.
It's it's like writing is a craft like a brushing your teeth. Like you have to, like how we brush our teeth every day. You have to keep on brushing your craft every day.
Yeah. Riyaz is very important.
Yeah, it's like Riyaz. It's very important. Like you have to write. More you're gonna write, more bad you're gonna write, more shitty you're gonna write, you're gonna learn.
Yes.
The one thing is very important. Once you write, it's very important you read what you write.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like, oh fuck, I have, this is shit I have written. While you were writing, you feel like, oh,
yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
Once you read, it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
I do it so many times. I finish an entire episode and I feel like, oh, it's not working. I go back and rewrite in 2 days.
That is also very important. Like going back,
because
grilling.
Yeah, it's like a self-assessment and judgment.
Yeah.
I don't give out pages if I am not convinced.
That is very important.
Like, that is very important.
Yeah.
Writing good is very important. Right now, we are so much surrounded by so much of content. There is a competition with everything.
Yeah.
Writing is very important at how you still gonna have audiences' attention. How you still gonna keep them hooked. It's very important.
Yeah. It has been absolutely brilliant talking to you, sir. I definitely have learned a few things about dialogue writing. I'm gonna apply these new teachings into my my next writing session. But yeah, it has been great having you, having the conversation. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your candid views and having this candid conversation with us. I from Scriptnama team really want to thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting. I had super fun. And yeah, keep on inviting great writers and keep on the journey going.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our episode. We hope you enjoyed it and found some answers and insights. If you liked it, please subscribe the show and share it with your friends. You can also follow us on Instagram for regular updates. Details mentioned in the description. Thank you for your time.